Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to practice more using slope. So you should have just watched a video of Slope Dude and his adventure skiing on a mountain. Today we're just going to continue practicing with notes and continuing to practice finding the slope given a graph. So let's start by filling in these first spots. What is slope? Slope is the constant rate of change between points on a line. So when we're looking at a straight line, the rate of change is equal to the slope. So looking at straight lines, slope is the rate of change. It's also known as a ratio. So remember, ratios can be written like this, or sometimes written as two things over a fraction bar. The ratio of the change in rise, or change in y, to the change in run, or change in x. So remember, just like rate of change, we are also often looking at the change in y over the change in x, which is also known as how much are we rising over our run. And we often use the variable m to represent slope. So let's take a look at types of slope. So this first slope here, this slope dude is going uphill. Remember, he would say puff, puff, positive. This is positive slope going up. Then when he goes down, it's so nice. He's going down, nice, negative. You can also think of this guy's slope. He's going up. The line looks like it's increasing. This line looks like it's decreasing. Then we get to this point and he says this is 0 fun. This type of slope is 0 because our line is constant. We're not moving up, we're not going down. Our rate of change is just saying the same number the whole time. And then this guy is freaking out because this line is undefined. He's falling down. Remember also, this line is the only line that is not a function, because it would have multiple inputs for the same output. Okay. So your task today is to find the slope for each of these. This time we're going to use the language rise over your run. Remember, that's the same as finding your change in y over your change in x. So I'm going to do one example from each section, and then you guys can do the other ones. So let's start here. I have 2 points already on the line for me. I'm going to draw a slope triangle. Okay. Let's start by looking at our change in y, also known as how much we are rising. So slope equals rise over run equals change in y over change in x. So I go from -2 up to 5. Or I can count the spaces because we're counting by 1 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My change in y is 7. Let's look at my change in x. I go from -2 to +2. Or if I count 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. 7 and 4 don't divide by any of the same numbers except for 1. So this is our most simplified slope. If I started here, my rise would be 7. And then go over 4 to get the next point. Okay, let's find this slope here. Let's see, I'll use the same color. Here's my 2 points. Uh-oh, I can't really draw a slope triangle for this one. I still have a rise between these points. So if I did my slope, my rise over my run, my change in y over my change in x. My y went up 1, 2, 3 points. But my run, I didn't change anything in this direction. So I'm going to put 0. That creates a lot of problems. If I take my calculator and do 3 divided by 0, I get an error. We cannot divide by 0 in math. So that's what makes this slope undefined, because we're not allowed to divide by 0. So if we get 0 on the bottom of a fraction, it means that it's undefined. So your job would be to do these 4 problems. Okay, I'll do one from this section as well. Calculate the rise and run to find the slope of each line. So let's start again. I'll pick 2 points. Draw a slope triangle. Again, we're counting by 1 each time. So I could just count the spaces for this. My change in y equals 1, 2, 3, 4. +4 because we're moving up 4. And my change in x equals 1, 2. So slope equals rise over run. My rise is my change in y. My run is my change in x. 4 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. My slope is 2. Sometimes I like to leave it as 2 over 1 so I can see on my graph. If I start at this point, I can go up 2 over 1 to get the next point, up 2 over 1 to get the next point, up 2 over 1 to get the next point, and so on. So these ones down here are going to be a little bit different because as you can see, the scale is different from before. So let's look at this example here. This time we're going up by 20s each time. instead of just counting by ones. So if I drew a slope triangle here, my rise, which is my change in y, I'm going from a height of 0 to a height of 40. So from 0 to 40, I'm going up 40. My run goes from negative 40 to positive 40. Well, from negative 40 to 0, that's 40, plus another 40, that would give us 80. So from negative 40 to 40, my change in x is 80 total. So my rise is 40, and my run is 80. So my slope is 40 over 80. I can simplify that by dividing the top and bottom by 40. And I'll get 1 over 2. Okay. This one, they already gave you a slope triangle, and they gave you the rise and the run already as well. So your job for the rest of today is to find the slope for the rest of these lines. And please let us know if you have any questions or need help with anything. Thanks so much. Bye.